Hi, my name's Katie. I'm part of the creative business peer group supported by Southeast Creatives. Um, we have been calling ourselves the creative polymaths because we do so many different things. And I've been asked to make a video about with some tips for using social media for your creative business. I've had to cut this video down considerably, so this is a re-record, and I've written some notes that I'm sticking to try and keep me to time. So I've been using social media in a number of professional and voluntary projects over the past decade. My own background is in the arts. I studied for my BA and my MA here in Kent at what was CIAD, now the UCA. When I had my two youngest children, I found that social media provided a wealth of support and knowledge specific to my circumstances at the time. And I've certainly found over the past decade that at every stage of both my personal and professional life, and like many creatives, the distinction between these is quite a grey area. The social media has been a huge and useful tool for building community around what I'm doing, finding genuine connection, investing in my own learning and development and growth, as well as an invaluable tool for just growing both my business and professional portfolio. I am by no means an industry expert, but I have put together just a couple of tips that have helped me and that are particularly helping me this year, where I've moved all of my projects entirely online to build organic growth, sales opportunities far beyond like anything that really I could have ever imagined when I started my Milk and Moon Instagram account with one badge and an iPhone 5 4 years ago. So these tips will help you if you're using social media for your creative business or your creative project, and looking for ways to make the time that you spend on the app like more meaningful and more intentional for you. I'm a little bit sniffy, I apologize. So number one, know what you're about. This might sound a bit obvious to you, and you might be about ready to turn off in disgust, but bear with me. Really, truly, this is so relevant if you're a creative type. So many creative practitioners have many passions, many avenues of creative inquiry, and it's so easy to get all of these like muddled up. Ask yourself the question, what do I actually want from the time that I spend on this social media account? If you're putting your time and energy into it, what do you hope to see out of it for your project or your business? It is perfectly okay to have specific goals for this. Your goal is what is relevant to you and you only. So if you actually only want to use social media to unwind and like hang out with your family and friends, that is absolutely fine. But just make sure that you've decided that and you know that, and then you can like let go of all the guilt if it's not working for your business, or if you want it to work for your business. This is really important. I've had my head turned by what other people are doing on social media so many times, and lost my stride doing what I think I should be doing with my time. So do a bit of thinking about the purpose of your account. It's a good way to do this is just to spend some time. I like to write things down when I think about them. I find that very clarifying. So go further than the purpose of my social media account is to raise my profile or get more people to see my work or to advertise my gallery space. You try and follow these thoughts through with something a bit more. So I've written an example down. So rather than saying, I just need to raise my profile, go further with that with a why, really, to raise my profile within my industry of artisan cheese, and land a TV show and a book deal about Kentish cheese making because I love it, but I want to do more than just make cheese all day. Or to get more people to see my artwork and prints because I want people to buy them, and to showcase the gallery because I want to attract artists funding and opportunities. So it's more than just I want to do this, it's I want to do this because the end game is that. Once I really personally got hold that the purpose of growing my own Instagram following was to get people to actually purchase the things that I sell, it really helped me understand where I needed to invest my time. And it really showed me clearly what I needed to develop. What's next? I'm going to take a breath and tell my child to just be a little bit quieter. Number 2, understand the basics of how the platform works in order to find your own groove within it. This might sound also fairly basic, but there's a lot that I have learned about social media and Instagram that I didn't know when I started out, and I certainly didn't know perhaps 18 months ago, perhaps a year ago. I was still trying to work out why some things worked and why other things didn't. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what I've been learning, and hopefully it'll be useful to you. What does it want? So, and again, my area of expertise is Instagram and then Facebook. It's the same company. They do work slightly differently. I'm going to talk mostly about Instagram. Because for most creative businesses, that visual medium is the one that really works for us. But all of this is transferable to Facebook as well. Anyway, in a nutshell, Instagram and Facebook want one thing. Oh, excuse me. They want to keep people using the app, on the app, for as long as possible, for as much time as possible, so that they can make money selling advertising opportunities to other businesses. Now, if you spend too much time thinking about the mechanisms of social media, it can make you feel a little bit gross. But despite this, I know that genuine connection, relationship, opportunity, and innovation are happening on these apps on the daily. If you just take a look at the Black Lives Matter campaigning earlier this year, and the subsequent education that was happening, like specifically on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook this summer, or right now the heartwarming organisation of like warm clothes and essentials for refugees in the Napier barracks in Folkestone. Like, social media can be a tool used for absolute good, and I really strongly believe that we need to hold on to that, especially when we're starting to pick apart the mechanisms and the working of it, because it can feel a bit it can be quite difficult, especially if you're like a lefty creative type person. So what does it record? It rewards engagement, and it rewards particular types of engagement. So knowing that Facebook and Instagram as a company want you to stay in their apps and use them lots, they reward the content that really encourages that. This is also a massive help when thinking about how to use these platforms for your business or project. It's one of the reasons why Facebook brought out Facebook events. People using Facebook pages, or way back when, to share information about parties, club nights, any events at all, were using their audiences, bringing their attention to an event, and then sending them away to another platform to book their tickets, to find out their information, to get all the things that they need. Much better for the Facebook platform to have everything that organizer, that attendee needs in one place. And that is just even more so now for small businesses, small shops, and everything. You can shop it all on Facebook, you can shop it all on Instagram. They don't want you clicking away to another site, because you might get distracted and not come back to the app. Every click on an event on Facebook is valuable data for advertising. So only Facebook, for instance, has the data of everyone in Folkestone that uses these apps. So if you are a sports chain opening a new shop, and you want to attract buzz, and you want to attract people to your store, and you want to let people know when you open and what you're selling, Facebook has the data of everyone in Folkestone that has checked into a gym, that has supports Folkestone Invicta, or follows like Sweaty Betty Leggings Emporium on Facebook, and it can then excuse me, I'm not sick, I am just allergic to everything. Facebook makes its money by selling very targeted advertising data. So that new sports shop, for not too much money, can target ads at all those people. So those particular people that it knows are going to likely to come and spend money in their shop, see the information they want them to see. Instagram and Facebook want all their interactions to stay in the app as much as possible, because that's how it builds that valuable target ad data. And that is the purpose. That was lengthy, but that is the purpose. That is what the app wants. And knowing this for your own business specifically is so useful, because it starts to throw a light on why things work. Some things work and some things don't. I'm going to take a pause, cut, blow my nose, and come back. Just talked about what Facebook, Instagram wants, how they do it. They use an algorithm. We hear a lot of people on Instagram, Facebook saying, "Oh, I've been shadow banned. Oh, the algorithm's changed. No one's seeing my posts, etc., etc." This is like half true and not true. The algorithm is like the mechanical internet data spiders that decide if what you're posting is valuable to the platform. The reason how to make things valuable to that platform is by making them valuable to your audience. So you and the conglomerate Facebook, Instagram are working really together there. You've got the same purpose. If it's valuable to the people you want to see it, it's valuable to them. It only knows, Facebook and Instagram only know what the users tell it. So yes, it's programmed by humans, and it's certainly constructed within like the racist, capitalist patriarchy. Social media is not an even playing field, and I don't really have time to go into that. So cut quite a lot of that out. But for the most part, if you're using it to share your creative business endeavors rather than like take down a government or anything else, it works the same way. It sees what gets engagement. That is what makes people interact with the app by watching or clicking or commenting or sharing, etc. And then it shows that content to people who it knows by their previous interactions with the app will likely engage with it. And to that purpose, Instagram especially has given us a buffet of ways to engage with accounts. And most importantly, as creative business owners, invite people to engage with us. This is really key, because people that engage with us see our content. Followers, people that just follow us and they don't engage, they don't see what we are posting. Their feed will be full of the accounts that they do interact with. So the ones that they comment on, the ones that they send messages to, the ones that they send like an emoji react sticker. And it goes far beyond just the likes on the grid on the individual Instagram posts. Instagram has kindly, so kind, provided us with a bunch of easy to use tools at our fingertips. So if you go to your stories, when you're making an Instagram story, you can pull up all sorts of stickers to put on, like polls, story stickers, polls, questions, DM me things, the little slider with a little emoji on, which are just invitations for interaction, and Instagram will reward you for using them frequently. People sending a reaction emoji to a story of your dog having a snore tells Instagram that they want to see more of your stories and your content. 10 people answering a quiz question in your stories about where they bought good wellies, even if it's nothing to do with the business or creative project that you want them to look at, will show more of your followers the things that you are posting. And yeah, those stories sound super mundane, but people do want to see that stuff. They don't just want to be sold to all the time. So anyway, Instagram is also giving us more and more ways of connecting with our audience. So you have the classic Instagram grid, you have stories, and I would say if you're serious about the growth of your social media account for your business, for your project, for whatever it is you're working on, I would say that you do really want to be using both of those tools daily. That sounds like a lot. and you get to decide what's right for you and your own projects. But that continual putting out of content is something also that Instagram rewards. Excuse me. As well as these, there are IGTV videos for that longer form stuff. There's a shopping feed. So Instagram doesn't want people so much going to your website as it wants them shopping in the app. There's Reels now, which is, again, it's stopping people moving over to an entirely different app and company to get their 15-second like funny videos or whatever they're using them for. We can keep it all in the same place. Yeah, somewhere spread across all of those ways of communicating is your groove, where your stuff that you like to do and the stuff that you like to make connects and matches with the people that like to look at it and interact with it. So last bit, I reckon. So you've got to understand your audience here. So I have had to cut this down considerably. I don't have the time to do the ins and outs of why it's so important to understand your intended audience. You've got to take it from me. This is like marketing 101, something that I've only really learned in the last 18 months or so. A really good exercise that I absolutely think that you need to do if you are serious about reaching the people that are actually going to follow through and work with you, buy from you, interact with you, bring you the opportunities and the things that you want for your project or business on Instagram, is to go on Google and Google ideal customer / client exercise. There's like a million marketing gurus out there that will probably give you a free PDF or a YouTube video or even a blog post that will tell you how to do it. It's a great exercise, and I would say it's probably pretty essential for understanding who you're talking to when you're making your social media content. So write down that ideal client customer exercise, and then go and do it. It's really good. So in a nutshell, that exercise will help you intensely understand what your audience wants to know and help you to make meaningful and authentic connections with them. So say you run a project space and the purpose of your social media is to attract good projects to it in order to raise your own professional profile and also pay the overheads of that space. Hopefully you would have made an ideal customer profile that reflects that goal, and the more you drill this down, the easier it gets. So perhaps you're looking for small touring arts organisations and practitioners that work in dance and movement. That will give you so much information about where to go, who to look at, and who to interact with on social media. It might be that your ideal clients change as your practice, business, or project goes. That is normal. The exercise is always useful to revisit or have a look at for different arms of your practice or your business. And if you have more than one, which most people do, you'll need a profile for each. So there are two sides of what to do with this information when you have it, and that is finding and engaging those people, whether they're early career artists or lockdown homeschoolers or the type of person that might subscribe to your regular cheese box. And this is where the time you spend on the app can be really used well and intentionally. Instead of random scrolling, spend time thinking about where these people are and then follow them. This tells the app that the kind of thing is the kind of thing you want to see. All the information about what they like is there on the app. Look for the stuff that they share in their stories, the other accounts, journalists, content creators, and things that they follow and interact with. You can follow them too. When the type of people that you would like in your community post, engage with them, like their posts, leave comments. When the great big accounts that you both follow in your industry or across your interests that intersect post, get in there and interact and comment with those posts too. This is about genuinely connecting and raising your own visibility. Is there a hashtag relevant to your work? Click on it, follow it, Every so often click it and see what's recently been posted. Have a look at the people that are recently interacting with those posts. They're in the app right now looking for connection, looking for useful things, looking for distractions. If they're relevant to your industry, give them a follow too. Just gonna come right back to my notes. So yeah, be generous with this. Be generous with your likes. React to people's stories. Behave in the way that you dream that people would with your account, with your content, and the things that you're putting out there. Do this across all your interests. Do this across every part of your business. Instagram wants you to engage and will reward you for doing that, even before we start to look at what you're posting. This will make you more visible. It will build genuine connection and community. It's not about manipulation. It's not about just following people because they might buy from you or they might do this. It's about genuinely building a space where you've got something to add, where you've got something to say, and you've got people that are actually going to be I would say like collaborators, that you're in an actual dialogue with people when you're spending time on that app. It's getting involved in the app in a genuinely meaningful way. I can guarantee that you will have an empty and joyless social media experience if you just post and ghost, if you just put stuff up and then withdraw. Instagram thinks of itself as a community, and it will reward you for treating it as one. What you are posting and the time you are intentionally spending on the app will give you precious information about to package up whatever it is that you do in a way that is going to increase your audience, increase the eyes on what you are doing. I don't know what your business is or what you do, so I can't speak directly to what you're doing. And I'm also dangerously over time. But whatever it is that you do, there is an audience out there that is hungry to see your content and to see exactly what you're doing. And this is where, as a creative, you can really start to find your flow and find your community. We can get pretty obsessed as creatives with that perfect grid. If you're a photographer, it won't be hard to fill the grid with pictures daily of beautiful things that you've taken out of your portfolio. If you spend every day in a ceramics studio, there's plenty of visual stuff for you to snap and fill those squares up. This could be more challenging if your creative output is not working in a beautiful creative environment, or perhaps your offering is more service based and the visuals are just part of the message that you're trying to get out. Maybe you have the images nailed, but it's hard to post because you just don't know how many times you can just say, I made a pot, here it is, this is today's pot. And this is where the rest of the tools of Instagram really come to life. A picture of your pot every day on the grid, it's not going to fill your pottery class or bring people to your pottery exhibition, but some cute aesthetic reels of pots spinning on the wheel will put your work in front of new eyes, will encourage an engagement with those things. As creatives, the pull of that tidy and aesthetic shopfront grid that looks like a beautiful portfolio will almost make me makes us feel good at what we do. It's quite difficult for us. Quite a lot of Instagram experts will say we need to disrupt that a lot. That's very hard when you are a creative in that sense. But we can build an awful lot of the stuff that our businesses need around the grid and around that perfect portfolio thing that you're putting out there into the world. The uncomfortable truth of what's so powerful about social media is that for the most part, a lot of us are really kind of nosy, and all of us at heart are looking for connection and feeling like we belong. Being able to relate to people and their content is what keeps us scrolling way more than the aspirational stuff. Things that we consider mundane are somehow fascinating to other people. And I'm sure that you will probably find that there are accounts that you follow where you're just looking at ordinary day-to-day stuff. This is really good content because it is there, it's available, you can just do it. It doesn't take a lot of thought, but please don't waste it. If use the tools in Instagram stories to invite participation, to invite engagement with it. Put a slidey sticker to see how cute is this thing that I've just seen. Put a poll up, ask a question. Don't waste that content that you're putting out there without actually using it to, if people are just watching it without engaging, then it's not going to be moving you up those rings into their like must watch, must engage, must show more of your followers what's going on. And then they're like, right, this is my last bit, I'm going to try and do it without being interrupted. As well as using your content creation, you can absolutely harness, and this is really key, especially for creative types, because this is where actually things can get quite exciting, the absolute power of your content curation. Now, this doesn't mean becoming some kind of repost account. The grid really ought to be for your work and the things that you're doing alone. But the little aeroplane for sharing posts to your stories is there as a powerful tool to help you connect with your audience, and to help you connect with people that are genuinely going to be interested in you, what you're doing, the stuff that you're about, and the stuff that you're interested in. This means that you don't have to show up on the grid every day with amazingly thoughtfully captioned content. You don't have to be on stories 24/7 giving a running commentary on your day-to-day life. And this also means that you are giving your audience something broader, more useful, and more natural than just you showing up every single day going, I sell a t-shirt. Do you want to see the t-shirt that I sell? I've still got a t-shirt for sale. Here's my t-shirt. Nobody's going to be wanting to, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So you can give these good value by sharing posts that you love, by by sharing the things that you think that your audience will love or find useful in your network, in your particular industry, and by boosting and supporting the community that you're building around you. It's a proper delightful way to consistently show up, to stay consistent, to tell the bigger story of the brand that you're building, the all the things around what you're doing that are important to you and important to your customers or clients. It brings real value to your audience. So be generous with that share. You don't need to come up with a new hot take every day. What you curate brings what you create into context. It's super powerful and super useful, and it starts engagement and conversations in a way that you can't imagine. So that is pretty much all I'm going to have time for. I'm just going to say the last couple of things that I want you to know about. Going to skip that. Cultivate a rich and rewarding life offline. Even if you're fully housebound and alone all the time that you're not on the app, we need to get our sense of worth and well-being outside, or else it will completely consume us. You need to be able to hold it lightly. Your social media accounts are a body of work. They're always in development. Don't be afraid to experiment with it. It is not a showcase that is entirely, nothing is riding on one post that you make. Arm yourself with resources. So if social media is part of a way that you make your living and promote your business, then invest in it as you would any other professional skill. It's one of the fastest changing industries. So and part of it is everybody feels slightly one step behind all the time. So grab every resource that you can that is relevant to you and just keep investing in it. And last of all, get yourself into a genuine community of people that are like you, that are doing stuff like you, that get you, that will cheer you on and hold you up, share information, and mutually support. And that is the end. Thank you to Southeast Creatives for giving me the mic.